and welcome to Flourish Flow. I'm your host, Amy Rohrer from the Yoga Hut in Tillsonburg, here to help you connect and integrate the dots to true wellness on your healthy living journey. If my own wellness journey has taught me anything, is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to flourishing. Lots of different paths and tools, which we'll be discussing on this season. We are here today at Bree's Fresh Market, one of our show sponsors. So a big thank you to Bree and Kyle for welcoming us here to film the show. And a big thank you to our additional show sponsors, Laura from Escapes Salon and Spa in Tillsonburg and Jen from Hometown Style in Ingersoll. On today's episode, we are joined by yoga and Pilates instructor, Dawn Tucker. Dawn has been passionately teaching yoga for 13 years and Pilates for 6 years. She is not shy about living fully, embracing all experiences and emotions, both on and off the mat. She brings humbleness, humor, and real-life experiences into her teachings, and she strives to give you wisdom and space to better evolve your practice and live more deeply. Opening a line studio in Tillsonburg has been a dream come true for Dawn, and it is her intention that those who come through her studio's doors find community connection and empowerment to live authentically. So thank you so much for joining us. What a beautiful bio, because I'm reading it and I know you a little bit, so it just so well suits you.
Oh, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, so true. So you've been teaching yoga for 13 years, like you said, and Pilates for 6 years. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your journey into these practices and how they have evolved over time.
Yeah, sure. So I've been a student of yoga for a lot longer than 13 years, but it was what brought me to the mat initially. I think it's different for everybody, right? Some people come to the mat for, physical, for the physical practice, but I actually came to the mat for more emotional and spiritual support. And so, yeah, I just remember just some of my first few times on the mat, just finding that space to just embrace my past and I remember once my yoga teacher had said, everything in your life has led you to this moment. And in that moment, I was really content. And so it was just really powerful to think that, some of the discomfort of, growing up in life can actually bring, this sense of awakening. Yeah, so.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, that's kind of what led you into yoga. How long was it before you decided to pursue the yoga teacher training, and what did that look like?
Yeah, it's a good question. It was maybe about 4 years, I think, and it was actually my yoga teacher who approached me and said, you need to do this.
Oh, wow, I love that.
Yeah, and so just, having that, little push from her just, really propelled me, and I haven't looked back. So
that makes me think of when I was kind of pondering becoming a yoga teacher, and I went to an ashram, and I was asking one of the guides there, and she was like, if you're asking about it, you're ready.
Yeah.
It's that seed's planted.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes, like you said, though, we need the little encouragement and the push. Yeah. And so, today you have your own studio, Alliance Yoga and Pilates Studio in Tillsonburg. Tell us a little bit about that evolution, what led you to create your own space, how's that going?
Sure. So we're just going on our 3rd year now.
Okay.
And so just really proud of that journey. And ultimately, there was a time when studios were not operating. And so my home base at the time, she had to close. And then when studios started opening up again, I needed a home base. And so really that's, so it's not a big elaborate story, but ultimately I just needed that home base. And so we found this space, and it's just nice to be rooted and to grow in the community. I really do enjoy Tillsonburg.
Absolutely.
And, my kids are growing up there and my husband works there. So it's just nice to grow in that community setting.
Yeah. And it was, I know, comfort for those who maybe practiced at, we both know the teacher you're talking about for many years, to have a place to continue to evolve on their mat, and a place that feels like home because, there was a community that you've continued to be able to lead.
Yes, yeah. And I'm really honored to kind of, pick up the torch from.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Align Studio. Where is it located? What kind of classes do you offer? Because it's, a class for everyone.
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, that's true. So we are on Library Lane, 1 Library Lane, Unit 202. And we offer a mix of classes. We have some advanced asana classes, which is more for students just looking to deepen their practice. We offer gentle yoga, some mom and baby classes, Pilates classes, and just all levels as well. And then restorative. There's a specific restorative class, which is more of a meditative practice, a practice of stillness. And then, the more active core conditioning Pilates classes as well.
So I guess that kind of leads to my next question of what advice would you give to someone who's curious about yoga, but maybe feels a little intimidated to walk into their first class?
Feel the awkwardness and do it anyway. You know, just show up.
Yeah.
You know, the hardest part is getting to the mat. And even when you have a consistent practice, that's the hardest part.
Yes.
It's just making it to the mat, and then everything else you do is a bonus. So just feel that awkwardness and take
Do
that,
it
take that step for yourself.
Yeah, I love that because it will feel a little different. Anything new is going to feel, it's the unknown.
Yep.
But what I love too is that you do have different styles of class. So somebody can start, maybe with a gentle practice or an intro kind of class, and then just see how that feels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And as far as, how do you balance it all, being a mom, a yoga teacher, now a business owner, how do you flow and continue to take care of yourself? Because I know that can be challenging, for people sometimes too. Yeah.
Day by day.
Yeah.
And asking for help, allowing other people to support you.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it really does. It's really all about that community, right? Like, sometimes our love language is service to others. And so it really is just allowing yourself to be open for other people to help you and to support.
Yeah. And how has there been, a certain experience, like since opening your studio? If you can share a little bit about learning to ask for help, what that looks like? Or did you notice that right away? Because of course, opening your own studio comes with all kinds of new experiences.
Yeah, it's not that linear path that you think, right?
Yeah.
There is a lot of back end stuff that happens with studio ownership, but really I think it's my motherhood journey that has allowed me to get more comfortable with asking for help.
Yes.
So I can care for myself.
Yes.
So
it's
something
that's absolutely true. Becoming a mom, you have to really embrace that. You can't do it alone.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a great practice that maybe helped you in opening your studio.
Yes, yeah. And again, it really comes back to community, letting others' strengths, letting them shine in their areas, and then so that you can shine more brightly in your areas as well.
Okay, I love that. Well, stay where you are. We're going to be back to talk more with Dawn and actually get to go through a little demo. So put your comfy clothes on and we will be moving after this short break. Welcome back to Flourish and Flow. I'm joined today by yoga and Pilates instructor Dawn Tucker, who is going to guide us through a little Pilates demo. So I'll pass it over to you.
All right, you got it. Okay, so we're going to start seated in a chair, and then we will end by standing. So chair is always nice just for support. So you're going to sit on the edge of your seat, to the edge of your seat, and then arms down by your sides, okay? And then we start with what's called sun breath.
No gold bangles required.
And then inhale, you reach your arms wide and up. You got it. And then exhale, arms come wide and down. And then you just move with your breath like this. Now, if shoulders are a little bit tender, then you don't have to reach the arms all the way up, or they could even just come a little more forward. Yep. And so maybe just make little circles, but keep a little press through the feet so there's support through the low back. Good. Beautiful. And just always so nice to connect your movements with breath. Start to wake up the shoulders. Awesome. And then we go one more. Good. So the next time the arms come down, you release that movement. Okay, and then arms just dangle by your sides, and I'll have you bring your right ear to your right shoulder, Amy, and then it's a side bend. Good, so you stay heavy through your sitting bones, and then you pull yourself up. And then left ear to left shoulder, and it's a side bend. Little press through the feet, so legs stay strong, and then you pull yourself up. Good. So you continue going side to side. And the modification here is if there's any discomfort through the neck, you just don't bring your ear to the shoulder. You just stay long through the side, but focus on being long through the sides when you lean. And then when you lean to the side, it's the side that's long that then becomes strong to pull you up. Good. So when it's a side bend left, you reach the right side, but then it engages to pull you up. The next time you side bend, the arm will join in. You got it. Little press through the feet to come up, and ear to shoulder side bend, arm joins in. Good. And then you pull yourself up. We'll just go one more time side to side, and notice how different the stretch feels when you bring the arm in. Beautiful flow. And then slowly you come all the way up. Take a moment to roll the shoulders. Embrace the sound effects. And then shoulders to stillness. I'll have you bring your arms forward now, and this is called bow and arrow. So the right elbow pulls back, just like you're pulling back on a bow, and then the arm glides forward. And left elbow pulls back, and you glide it forward. Yeah. And then from here, the next time your right elbow bends, you look to the right. So just like you want to watch your elbow as it pulls back. And then same guidance, if there's any neck tightness or discomfort, just keep your head on straight. All right, and now we add on again. The next time the right elbow bends, the heart turns right, and then it's a pull back to center. And the left elbow bends and the ribs turn left. Good, so this is very much what we call in Pilates progressions. So we start with smaller movements, but then we grow from there. And so you just honor what progression feels best for you. Good, and then we'll pull back once more on the left. Lovely, arm will come forward, slowly reach arms wide and up, and then you bring the arms forward and down. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Arms wide and up, and then exhale forward down. 1 more. Beautiful. The next time the arms come down, we'll come on up to standing. Okay. So from here, I'd like you to stand with your legs wide. And then you can hold on to your chair for steadiness or for balance. And then we call this tick-tock. So you just glide your weight back and forth. And then when you get heavier on one foot or more planted on one foot, you just come to the big toe of the opposite side. Yeah. And so you might be right here, or if you like a little more movement, the next time you're on the right, it's just a lift and tap of the left and then a switch. So it's just a little lift and tap of the big toe and a little lift and tap and a lift and tap. So you might notice your hip muscles waking up. And of course, it's really good for balance because you're in movement. And it's also kind of soothing because there's this little tick-tock movement to it. Good, that's it. And then we'll just go one more time. And so the next time the left foot comes down, I'd like you to heel toe walk your feet in. So it's this little turn of the thighs in. And now the right leg steps forward. So we end up in what's called a split stance. And then it's a rock back and forth.
Okay.
So it's that same kind of tick-tock movement, but now our weight is shifting back and forth. Good. And then here, it's just like you're gonna take a step, but then you change your mind and kind of reverse.
Okay.
So use the chair if you need to, or you can bring your arms down by your sides, and then the arms can come forward, and then the arms can swing back. Yeah. And so as you can see, Amy is comfortable lifting her arms a little bit more. I'll keep mine a little bit lower, but ultimately just whatever feels best. There's flow. And we'll go for 3. And last one. Lovely, Amy. The next time the arms come down, it will be a switch. So left leg forward, right leg back. Yep. And we just start with the rock back and forth. Just like you're going to take a step, but then you change your mind. So you'll feel there's a roll through the ankle. There's the shift of weight back and forth. So good for balance, good for ankle mobility. So ties right into our functional movement. These are movements you do all the time.
Yeah.
Arms can join in if you like that extra little bit of movement. There we go. And last one. So the next time the arms come back, you're going to simply step the right leg forward. And then this is called running. So just a little bend of one knee, and then the opposite leg comes down, or the opposite heel comes down. And it's just a way that we kind of release any stretch or any residual sensation from the first movement. You got it. And then both legs will come down. All right, so this next movement, we're a little bit tight on space, but we'll make the most of it.
Okay.
So these are called clock steps. So imagine that your left leg stays to the center of your clock, but you're standing on a great big clock. Okay. So to start, Amy, what I want you to do is just lift the right leg forward and up. So you end up standing on one leg, and then you're going to bring the leg down. Then you're going to step the right leg forward, and you place it to 12 o'clock on your imaginary clock. You got it. And then you bring the leg back to center. And then you're going to step the right leg forward to 1 o'clock. And then you bring it back to center. Okay, and we'll just go one more on this side. We'll kind of cheat a little bit. Good. And then the leg comes back. So now we'll switch to the left. So right leg is to the center of the clock, so you end up standing on the right leg. We just start with the left leg forward. Okay, and then we place it down, so it's like a little test run. And then the leg will come forward, place it to 12. And then the leg lifts and you bring it back to center. Good. And then the leg comes forward, you place it to 11. And then you bring it back to center. So you can see again your weight shifts, there's a little bit. And then over to 9. Or did I miss a time in there?
10.
No, I think I missed an hour in there. Good. And then, yeah, we'll come to 9. Good. And then the leg will come back to center. Good. And then it's that little running movement.
Nice.
Good. All right, and then one final stretch to see us off here. And in yoga, we call this downward dog. In Pilates, it's called pike. So you can bring your hands to the back of your chair. I'm just going to slide my chair forward a little bit.
Okay.
And then it's a nice long step back. Feet are hip distance. Arms will be straight. I know we have to kind of contend with our backdrop here. And then the hips stretch back. Arms can stay straight-ish.
Okay.
Good. So it's like a downward dog, but we're not going as far forward, so it's not as deep of an inversion. Okay, and then from here, you could stay right here, or remember that running movement we did, you can bring that in to your stretch.
Nice.
And downward dog is one of those poses that I recommend everybody try to do every day.
Yeah.
And morning down dog feels very different than evening.
For sure.
And then legs to stillness, and you come all the way up and step in.
Thank you, Dawn. That was lovely.
Thank you.
And what a great practice to kind of start on Monday. It's Monday when we're filming, so that feels really good after the weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you for guiding us through this session, for sharing everything you did today. And we will be back with Dawn after this short break.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Flourish and Flow. I'm your host, Amy Rohrer, joined today by Dawn Tucker, yoga teacher and Pilates instructor from Align Yoga in Tillsonburg. So something I know you're passionate about, living authentically, supporting others to live authentically. What does living authentically mean to you, and how do you personally stay aligned with that value? What does that look like in your everyday life?
Sure. To me, my understanding of that is allowing yourself to embrace your flaws and understand that they're not always flaws, that our greatest source of growth can come from our perceived flaws.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so when you're teaching, how do you support others to embrace that? Is it, through sharing a little bit more about that? How does that transfer onto the mat as well?
I think sometimes sharing my own personal experiences and how I've learned to cope or understand and grow from there, or even just be present from there, because it's not always necessarily growth.
Yeah.
And repetition, sometimes we need to hear things over and over, like it's okay, right? It's okay to back off.
Yeah.
It's okay to slow down. It's okay to take up space. So yeah, I find repetition is key for myself and for others.
Yeah. And I think something that, maybe some people who have never been to a class don't know, and the style of yoga that you teach, that I teach, there is a little bit of a Dharma talk. So you teach on a theme, do you want to expand on that a little bit? It's not just always practicing the moves. There's lots of other parts of yoga that we touch on too.
Oh, absolutely, right? There's 8 limbs.
Yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned at the beginning of every class, there's the Dharma talk. And so a theme that we focus on each and every week. This week is an example. Gratitude, Thanksgiving's just around the corner. So the attitude of gratitude and how living from that place of thankfulness or appreciation can turn what you have into enough. And then just weaving that throughout the practice so you can embrace where you are in the moment and just where you are in your practice, because every time we come to the mat, we're different.
Yes.
A morning practice is different than an evening practice, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it really is just about embracing where you are.
I love that.
Breath by breath.
For someone who's feeling disconnected or overwhelmed, what's one simple practice or mindset shift you would suggest to help them feel more grounded?
Breathe. Intentional breath. Breathing on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So starting to connect to your breath.
Yeah.
That's another thing that, each and every class you'll receive some guidance on connecting to your breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you personally continue to evolve your own practice as a teacher, a mom, a student of life?
It's a delicate thing, but really just getting on the mat, right? Even if it's just for 3 minutes or, sometimes it becomes timeless where, it's a little bit longer, and just embracing what I need, right? Sometimes it's a restorative pose, or sometimes it's yoga nidra, or sometimes I do need a more active practice, and I do enjoy Pilates, so I do often have a more vigorous or active practice as well. But yeah, that's really it. Just getting on the mat and being open to receive.
Yes. I love that you said that. Every day might look different. Really just checking in. I think that's a great guide, is just asking yourself that little question every morning, like, what do I need today?
Yes.
Because I used to, the style of yoga that I went to train for is like the same kind of practice, which can be really good to, have that discipline and like get into a routine. I found that really helped me like start to learn, here are like 10, 15 poses I can do.
Yeah.
But then also some days that's too much, right? So it's like checking in, and sometimes it is just a restorative pose, and that's all that my body really requires.
Yeah.
And it can energize you. So
Exactly.
yeah, I love that you said every day it's a little different.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big elaborate 2-hour class.
I know, yeah, with the beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, we practice it on the mat, so it becomes easier off of the mat, right? So in your everyday life, you can, check in with yourself. What am I capable of doing in this moment? Or, getting away from that consistent to-do list. And, we can be so overscheduled. So just, checking in with yourself, what you're capable of.
So something you just said a few moments ago is that you really love Pilates. And that's something that you found yourself drawn to over the last several years. Could you touch on a little bit about the differences between yoga, Pilates, maybe where they overlap, why you enjoy it? What do you have to share about Pilates?
Sure. So Pilates is more of a core conditioning practice. So it's all about functional movement. Again, meeting you where you are, and then knowing there are ways that you can strengthen and train your core for ease in everyday movements.
Okay.
So in a lot of ways they overlap. There's a focus on breath. There is focus, concentration, fluid movement. And so even some of the poses overlap that way as well, but its focus is through the core.
More on the core.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and you offer a few Pilates only classes for people to kind of experience what that's like, and you're going to guide us. You've guided us as well. Something I like to do that's fun, I think it's fun anyways, is called lightning round. So a few pop questions for people just to get to know you and your personality better. So just kind of first thing that comes to mind, morning, noon, or night?
Noon.
Noon. I so want to ask more about some of these answers sometimes, but if we have time, we'll come back to that one. What's one word your friends would use to describe you? 1 or 2 words.
We'll say humble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Humble. Your go-to mantra when life gets messy. Do you have a mantra?
Let go.
I like that.
Let go.
Favorite yoga pose?
Side angle.
Ooh, yes. And is there a yoga pose you have a love-hate relationship with?
Cobra.
Ooh. I feel you there. Yeah, it's good for us. But
Yeah.
what's something people might be surprised to learn about you?
Well, that's a good question. I don't always practice yoga every day.
I love that you shared that because, yeah, that might be something that, people perceive yoga teacher. You're just always doing yoga every day, but tea, coffee, or something stronger after a long day.
Oh, after a long day, tea, 100%.
Do you have a book that's changed your perspective?
Meditations from the mat.
If you weren't teaching yoga or running a studio, what do you think you would be doing? Is there any other career that you thought about doing?
I would be a baker.
A bake? Oh, you did, you said. Yeah, you dabbled in baking
Yeah.
too. Most unexpected place you've ever unrolled a yoga mat?
Ooh, it isn't unrolling a yoga mat, but I've practiced yoga in a parking lot between cars. I was in jeans and everything, just needed to.
Just needed to.
Yeah.
I love that. Finish this sentence. To flourish and flow means?
Breath by breath awareness.
I like that. It just reminded me to take a breath. Sometimes I forget that, even in these moments when, we're focused on our conversation, just remembering to take a breath is very, very supportive.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, how can people get in touch, learn more about you, your classes, if it's a website or a phone number you want to share?
Sure. So we do have a website, alignyogaandpilatesstudio.com. We are on social media as well, on Facebook and Instagram. So pretty easy to find that way.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dawn,
you.
for coming on, sharing more about you, your journey, and how you guide others to live a more authentic life. On behalf of our show sponsors, a big thank you to Bree and Kyle for welcoming us here today. Also, thank you to Laura from Escape Salon and Jen from Hometown Style. Until next time, may you continue to flourish and find your flow.